Video was intended to share some of my discoveries working with students in a recent course on data science, in which we introduced the use of Gemini Notebook as the primary mechanism of student learning and instructional delivery.
Working with your student on the data analytics framework projects has been a remarkable demonstration of how AI can accelerate learning in complex technical subjects like data modeling. Operating within the sanitized and privacy-protected environment you mandated, I have observed the student quickly transition from understanding raw datasets to developing sophisticated, business-ready analytical models. Traditionally, students can get bogged down in the technical friction of data preparation. However, with AI support, this student was able to rapidly master Step 3, ETL and cleaning. They quickly grasped the strategic reasoning behind standardizing data types for Power BI, such as converting device trust scores and transaction hours to whole numbers to ensure accurate DAX calculations and proper data aggregation. More importantly, the AI scaffolding allowed the student to elevate their focus toward critical thinking and advanced feature engineering. For example, rather than just looking at raw, disconnected numerical indicators, the students successfully built a dynamic risk segmentation model. They learned how to logically combine multiple variables, such as foreign transactions, location mismatch, device trust scores, and 24-hour transaction velocity, into cohesive high, medium, and low-risk tiers. This transformation added immense analytical value, enabling advanced fraud clustering and risk-based visualization. Because the AI helped streamline the foundational modeling process, the student could dedicate more time to generating high-level business insights. They successfully conducted exploratory data analysis, EDA, to discover that fraud risk is behavioral, not categorical. They identified that while fraud is relatively evenly distributed across merchant categories, it is heavily driven by foreign transactions, device trust levels, transaction timing, and velocity. Ultimately, the student was able to quickly synthesize these complex data models into a professional-grade strategic action plan tailored for the Canadian financial services sector. They mapped their data insights directly to business outcomes, developing a comprehensive framework complete with key performance indicators, KPIs, like model AUC scores, false positive rates, FPR, and customer satisfaction scores, CSAT, to ensure fraud detection does not negatively impact the customer experience. By removing traditional technical roadblocks, our collaboration empowered the student to function as a strategic data analyst much faster than traditional methods would allow, directly linking raw data transformation to highly impactful business intelligence.
So I created a Gemini notebook for the class in which I uploaded all materials, and that gave us all the benefits of students being able to ask specific targeted questions of the material in ways that were meaningful to them. And I mandated that the students had to create a Gemini notebook on their own end, and that would be their way of delivering materials to me. So here's something that one student did, which I'm just going to showcase. So here's one of their final presentations for the course, which was their PowerPoint, right? So it was basically a data science course, and I gave them the requirement to create or select an interesting business domain and then apply the 5-step data model building framework to it and use Power BI to generate some analytic and work the process of analyzing the pain point and then applying Power BI to analyzing the facts, the data sets of the domain, and then make some recommendations. So here's what one student did, right? So they uploaded their sources. In this case, this was their final assignment, and they created a Power BI from here. Some students also created videos and other inputs. The student went with a PowerPoint. So anyway, this is just showing, and they could download it, right? So once it's here, you could download it as well. But my intention was to make their thinking centric around using Gemini Notebook, which, as we know, is the first tool of this kind largely available. In future years, we expect there to be many other capable models of doing this, but this is what this student did. So anyway, the point here is to just show you that we were able to get students with no prior background in data modeling within a 5-day block course, 4 hours a day, 5 days. They were up to the point of being able to learn how to do very sophisticated data analysis. And definitely, I'm telling you, as somebody who's been an instructor for more than 10 years at the college level, I have not seen this level of performance. And I know, because I did individual interviews with each student as well, they really do know this material. There is some psychological factor about working with an AI that causes people to learn the material much more quickly and at a much higher level of depth. Now, the students chose some area of personal interest. So this student, I think, had previously worked in some banking job, and he had had some exposure, right, or some involvement with the concept of fraud and risk management within banking. So we had the essential element of business domain knowledge, but using tools like Gemini Notebook and Power BI to amplify learning is definitely the way that colleges need to go. It is going to happen. The question is going to be who is going to be at the forefront of making it happen, and who's going to sort of sit back and jump onto the bandwagon later on. So anyway, now what the student did, I'm not going to share this link out with you because it's confidential to the student and the college that I'm working for this engagement, but you can share, right? So it's possible, and this is what student did with me. They shared their link to their Gemini notebook out to me, and then I was able to interact. I could also create documents here to provide feedback links to them. And I'm strongly suggesting that anybody who works as an administrator or an instructor in the college space, don't delay, right? Start working with this right now, experiment with it in your own courses. I'm seeing that within the near future, I'm talking within a couple of years or less, textbooks are going to be replaced by summative tools like this. Now, I understand there's a number of issues related to intellectual property ownership and so on. That's going to have to be discussed and taken care of at a higher pay level than the one I'm working at. But I've also attached some links to the email accompanying this, discussing how previous innovations in human intellectual development and ability to work with knowledge systems have had those same concerns, and somehow people just keep moving forward. So see my article, The Age of Litigation, for a somewhat satirical view of previous incarnations of how newer developments built on top of the intellectual capital of earlier developments. Anyway, that's all I can think of for right now. I just wanted to share this with you because I'm quite excited, and I'm happy to work with anybody who wants to make some sort of a working group or even have informal discussions on how tools like Gemini Notebook can be used to rapidly advance students' ability to master complex materials. Because the economy in the world is not getting any simpler, and especially in Ontario with issues related to enrollments and so on and funding, we know that we have to get a bit more innovative in terms of finding newer, better ways to make the students excited and connected and be able to fulfill our responsibility to Ministry of Education and to the generality of the public that we're serving to quickly produce graduates who can master complex bodies of knowledge and apply them on the job. Any questions, please be in touch with me.